Hello and welcome to Sunrise Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein, better known throughout the hobby as Crease Collector. So first up, we have both picked up some notable things for our collections of late. So Aaron, do you want to kick things off with your newest edition?
Sure, just one for me. For those who didn't see yet, picked up yet another printing plate from 0910, the Cup. That being another Enroth card, of course. This is from the UD Black Letterman set. So, for those who can see the plate, not really much of a plate. There's only a small picture on the side there, but kind of cool to see like the inner workings of, what went into the design, before, of course, they laid in the manufactured patch, once these cards were printed. But yeah, pretty cool. So a little bit of a unique plate there. And, for those who've seen the new O-Pee-Chee and the unfortunate printing plates coming out of there for the checklist cards, and I think I will consider this a win. For those who don't know, the checklist cards, some of them you can't even really see what they are. It's really kind of frustrating. So I can only imagine a collector pulling that and one, like not really being sure what this is if you're new to the hobby. And two, finding out it's a checklist. It just didn't really show much of the names, if at all, just a weird colored piece of metal. So that one's a little weird on me. So, hey, you know what? It's better than a checklist printing plate, so I will definitely take it.
Yeah, always a good day when you can add another one of one to your collection. I know you said that's number 74.
74. So yeah, just yeah, amazing. So hopefully I can hit, the big 75 soon, but we'll see. So yeah, just really, really cool. I've always liked printing plates. I know people listening, maybe they're kind of split on the idea, but I've always enjoyed them. I know Eric, like you're not as big of a fan maybe as me, but just I really dig them. And so especially ones from the cup, when they're just encapsulated in the card stock there. I've always been a huge fan of that. So yeah, big fan of this pickup.
Yeah, I would say I'm a bigger fan of printing plates than probably a lot of people are. Probably maybe not quite as big as you, but I definitely like them and think they're cool and appreciate them. I just didn't ever collect them back when I was collecting Jalmerson at first. So, but yeah, like Slavin, I have a bunch and yeah, some other guys too. But yeah, always really cool. How many of his rookie printing plates is that now in your collection?
That would be from 0910 there, 24 of the rookie year plate. So there was 60 made. Another Enroth collector who doesn't collect anymore, unfortunately. I've lost contact with them years ago, but they have over 20. So they were kind of like the market leader on his stuff back in 2010. And yeah, just I remember I contacted him once somehow, and just he didn't collect anymore, but he wanted to keep his Enroth collection. So, that's fair, but yeah, those are 20 odd plates that I'll never probably see. So it made, all the other 40, that much harder to find, so I've managed to get, 20 odd myself. So yeah, there's some more out there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's crazy that between the two of you, you guys have like 80% of all of them.
Yeah, I think probably combined, we're probably up to 45 or something like that, like of the 60.
Pretty cool. And like you said, they're obviously very difficult to find nowadays. So anytime you can find one and add one, that's a good day for sure. I have a few different things to show off here. First, I want to give a big shout out to you guys might know him as Glenn Barracuda on Instagram. We know him as Glenn on Hobby Insider, but Glenn has been doing a lot of custom homemade cards in recent years, and you guys have probably seen them on Instagram. He does a really good job of showcasing new ones that he makes and cards that are available for sale and things like that. But what's really cool, they're not just standard cards, they're actually foldable cards that when they're fully open, they are the size of a normal card. They're 2.5 by 3.5, but then they fold up into a matchbox size. And then he also produces a like matchbox cover that you can then slide the card into. So again, if you guys are familiar with Glenn, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, do yourself a favor and go to Glenn Barracuda on Instagram and you can check those cards out. But Glenn was extremely kind and sent me one for my collection recently, just completely free of charge, and that was very generous and thoughtful of him, and definitely appreciate that. and it is, like I said, one of those Matchbox themed cards, and it fits into my collection very nicely because it is a triple that features Jacob Slavin, Dougie Hamilton, and Brent Burns.
That is awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with Glenn's work there. Super, super cool. That is awesome. That is so cool. Yeah, like I remember when he started first posting those, just being blown away by, his custom work there. So yeah, definitely check those out. That is an awesome card for your collection and free of charge too, which is really, really great. So yeah, amazing work by him, and those are so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that he also does commission them as well. So if you guys want, oh, you collect a certain player and you want to have three different teams that your player played for, or you have three favorite players or whatever it might be, Glenn is really good about working with collectors to create exactly what they have in mind for these. So yeah, it's really cool and a really unique idea. Obviously, the construction is obviously extremely unique and something that hasn't been done before, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm sure to the best of pretty much anybody's knowledge because they're very unique, like I said. So yeah, and just like really cool in person. Like a scan of them doesn't do them justice at all. They still look nice in a scan, but you really have to like actually have them in hand to really fully appreciate just how cool and interesting they are. So yeah, just wanted to give Glenn a big shout out and highlight his work because it really is very, very cool. And I had been admiring them from afar through social media for a while and always kind of wanted one in my collection. So now that I do, super, super, super cool. And again, big thank you to Glenn for doing that. Really appreciate it and really excited to have one of your creations in my collection. My next part of my mail day, as you guys are probably familiar with at this point, you've probably heard me talk about the Connor Bedard game dated moments cards from e-Pack, and a few of those have finally become physical cards. So I was able to have those sent home and add them to my collection. So first one being from November 9th, where it is recognizing him scoring 4 points for his first NHL multi-point outing. The second one is from December 12th, which is when he squared off with Connor McDavid for the first time in his career. Obviously, a really cool photo of them taking a face off against each other. And yeah, just a cool card to have them both on the same card and featured there. The next one was December 23rd, which is when he scored his Michigan goal against the St. Louis Blues. Obviously, a pretty iconic moment. If you guys haven't already seen that goal, I don't know where you've been, but that was a pretty cool one. And then the last one being December 27th when he scored his it's over overtime winning goal against the Winnipeg Jets, which I know we've talked about that card and that moment on the show before, but cool to have those cards in hand. And then of course with that, like you've probably heard about already, is also the gold parallel of that card, which I was fortunate enough to
That's
pull out
awesome.
of a pack on e-Pack. So to have the gold parallel in hand and in my collection is obviously really, really fun and exciting.
Yeah, well done on those. I mean, just, such a great start to your Bedard collection. Just amazing start. So, yeah, those gold ones are so nice. When you showed me a picture of that in person, when you first received it, I was just blown away. It was the first time I had seen a picture of one, kind of live, I guess you could say. So yeah, those are really something. So awesome job on that. And obviously being Bedard, those things went lightning quick. So the fact that you're able to grab one is awesome.
Yeah, they always sell out immediately. There was another one that just came out the other day, and I was ready to go right when they dropped, and the site just would not load for me, so I had to buy them after the fact from somebody that was fortunate enough to get them. But yeah, it's always kind of a frustrating process because the site just can't handle the traffic that is coming for those cards. So you can literally just sit there and the proverbial wheel just spins and spins and spins and nothing happens. And then by the time it finally loads, they're already gone. So that's happened to me, I think, on at least two or three occasions now. So it's frustrating when it happens, but you're still able to pick them up after the fact pretty easily, which is good. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight those. And then the third part, I know Aaron will like this because it just kind of builds off of your mail day. I was fortunate enough to track down the 2020-21 Upper Deck printing plate booklet from the Cup of Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
I dig that. That is awesome. Yeah, I remember when Let me know about that one. That is so cool. Nice. Yeah, we were talking about with my pickup there with the cup masterpieces there and how it was kind of encapsulated in the card stock. But a couple years ago when they made the switch here to the booklet cards, just amazing. Just took those cards to the next level. The cup printing plates have always been, special to me. And seeing them go kind of the booklet route has been really cool and they look great. Yeah, so on one side I really like them. But on one side, it's kind of like, it's kind of cool when they're kind of separate and then you kind of track them all down. But, to have them all laid out for you in one, in one book like that all at once is obviously really cool too, because that's the goal, right? To get all four. So to have them all at once there is, looks amazing.
Yep, and you can still do the traditional method. They only do the booklets for the flagship cards, so all of the other
Yeah.
rookie
Yeah.
plates and stuff are still done in the traditional individual sense. So
Yeah, so they're still kind of the classic way, but and those have taken, quite a big turn too, with the memorabilia on the back as well, with the back of the printing plate there too. So those have been kind of, re-envisioned, I guess, and that's took a really cool turn as well. I really like those too.
yeah, definitely a fun and innovative thing that Billy and his team did on those within the last year or two. But yeah, always cool to see the different printing plates out there, and I just love these printing plate booklets. Just having them all right there in one is just such a great idea. And yeah, I've been fortunate enough to find quite a few of them of my guys over the few years that they've come out. So yeah, but always a treat to find another one and pick it up for the collection. So was really excited about that. And then the last one is a card that Aaron knows nothing about, which we all know that's how we like doing things around here, of course. This is something that I've really hoped to add to my collection for a number of years now. And I'll tell the story in full later on, but it worked out to pick up this card recently in a trade. And yeah, I will just pop the card up on screen and let Aaron share exactly what he's looking at.
Woohoo! No way. That is amazing. I don't even want to know what you trade away for that thing. For those who can't see the screen, it is 0506 Upper Deck Trilogy rookie premieres of Alex Ovechkin, graded PSA 8. Can't see the numbering on that. I want to say 9.99, but it's hard to see based on the scan. Yeah, 9.99. So that is amazing. A numbered Ovechkin rookie. Yeah, I don't want to know what you trade away for that. But amazing. Yeah, definitely out of left field here. Especially with him going for the goal record and he's scoring goals, a lot of goals lately. So yeah, good for him and trying to chase Gretzky's record. It's gonna be a little bit weird seeing him surpass Gretzky, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. But hey, he's putting the puck in that.
That he is, yeah, he's been red hot of late, and he's under 50 to go. So I think
Getting there.
it's officially kind of more a matter of when than if. So
I think so. I've heard people make the argument like, oh, like what if he, just gets too old? And I'm like, if you're less than 50 goals away, he's gonna
yeah, he'll play
go
until
like
he gets it.
he'll play until he gets it. Like unless he gets like injured that, he can't like walk anymore. He like blows out a knee, can't skate or something like that, like repeatedly just gets kept off the ice, like then okay, maybe. But he's gonna find a way, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a little weird though.
It's inevitable it'll happen. So, but yeah, this is a set that I have always loved, even dating back to when it first came out. I love the design and the rainbow foil board is really pretty in person. So this was always a card that I kind of wanted for my collection and had always kind of wanted to add a decent Ovechkin rookie card to my collection as well. I used to have one of the Artifacts rookies back in the day, but traded it away and I don't even remember what I got for it. So yeah, after that, I've always wanted to replace it with one of these specifically. So yeah, a guy named Tyler Couillard, giving him a shout out, posted this on Facebook and it was available. And we just kind of went back and forth and came to a deal. And it was mostly trade, and then I added a little bit of cash as well. But yeah, definitely was very pleased with the trade. And again, Tyler, thanks for working with me on it. Really excited to have it in my collection, and just a beautiful card in person for sure. So yeah, really, really excited to cross that one off the list and have a really nice Ovechkin rookie card in the collection. And yeah, obviously the timing is good with him being red hot right now and chasing down that all-time goals record, like we were saying. So yeah, definitely a very fun and kind of unique and spontaneous addition, but still one that I've been seeking out for a while. So yeah, really cool there. So that is our mail day portion of the episode. Something that we had kind of just forgot to circle back and talk about earlier was the 1979-80 O-Pee-Chee case that was, of course, recently auctioned off. I know we talked about it while the auction was still happening, but we have not talked about it since it sold. So, Aaron, I will let you share a little bit about how that auction went and just talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for those who you know, don't keep up with the times here, you may have heard that there was a case up for sale, but not just any case. So, like Eric mentioned, the O-Pee-Chee case with the Gretzky rookie, a total of approximately, what did we say, 27 roughly are in there, if the math works out. So yeah, that finally sold, and like Eric mentioned, we just kind of forgot to kind of look at it again. So for those who don't know, it sold for a whopping 3.72 million US, which for my fellow Canadians, it's over $5 million on our end. So just insane. And it's been kind of silent since, the auction ended. No one really knows what's going to happen in this case. I think it's going to be held and then it's going to eventually resurface down the road, but who knows where it went. But and now don't quote me on this, but this is just from some random person from my Tuesday night hockey team. But he said, a family bought it or something. Again, I don't know if that's true, total speculation, but that's just one guy's thoughts. And so who knows what happened to this case. But hey, I mean, it's going to be something. But I mean, some part of me kind of wants to see what's in it, of course. But I don't know if we're going to ever see that, at least anytime soon. I think they're going to keep it. And I think we're going to see it eventually down the road again. But Eric, what do you think is going to happen in this case? Do you think it's going to be held or opened?
I mean, like we said on the show when the auction was happening, I think it'll be kept intact. And seeing the sale price, I believe that even more so now, it would be very difficult to justify opening it. You would almost have to get at least one PSA 10 and then a lot of PSA 9s as well. So yeah, I don't see it being opened. I don't think that would be a very wise decision as far as what was invested into the case. But yeah, obviously that would be very, very fun to see how that would go if someone did decide to do that one day. But yeah, I think odds are probably pretty good that it will be kept intact. And honestly, I think that's probably the better way to go about it. I mean, you see Gretzky rookie cards all the time. You don't see Gretzky rookie year boxes for sale all that time, let alone a case. That's what makes this such a unique find and item. And obviously, like we said before, like a holy grail type of thing, is this is really like a one of a kind thing. Whereas Gretzky rookies in and of themselves, obviously not a one of a kind thing. Of course, if it's a PSA 10, then it's close to a one of a kind thing. But still, there are tens of thousands of copies of the card out there. So it just it's just, oh, here are more Gretzky rookies, but you're not going to go find another sealed case of the product.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the price surprise you? I mean, like I think we were thinking like 1, 2 million maybe, but when it jumped to over 3 million, almost four, that's when, like yourself probably was like, yeah, like that's too much money to then go ahead and open this thing. It's just not gonna happen. For me, it was a little bit maybe overpriced. I mean, I know you can't really put a true price on something like this, but for me, it was like, okay, if you're gonna open this that that just kind of, you know, took the wind out of the sails a little bit for that price, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just a little bit too pricey if you're going to try and, run the risk of grading all these things and making your money back. It's a little tough.
Yeah, I think kind of the breaking point for the rationale to open it was probably in that like 1.5 million US range because at that point you wouldn't need to get a PSA 10, but you'd still need to do really well. But even, if you graded almost everything from the case, I mean, obviously that would be a huge amount of money to put into it as well. But even if you just graded the nicest cards and the best players and stuff, you could still probably get close to covering that. But yeah, once it got up to two, 2.5, three, 3.5, 3.72, yeah, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And I guess what's next for this case? Like, does it continue to double or triple depending on next time it's sold? But then at that point, like, what are you really paying for? It's going to be an interesting one to see if it resurfaces. But hey, the hobby's weird sometimes.
That it is. That it is. And we'll let that serve as a good segue into kind of the quote unquote main topic of the episode. And I don't know how much we even really have to say about this, but it is a very hot button topic in the overall sports card hobby right now. Not necessarily in hockey, at least not yet, thankfully, but something that has been a very hot button topic in other sports is the notion of cleaning or treating cards and applying chemicals and things like that to cards to clean them up and hide some of the defects on the cards and clean up the surface and things like that. So kind of the big news item that happened that really brought this conversation to the forefront over the last couple of weeks is there was a Wembanyama one of one rookie card that was submitted to PSA and got a PSA 10. And after that grading took place, the owner of the card more or less came out saying that he had treated it with something called Kurt's Card Care, which some of you may or may not be familiar with. But essentially, it's a product that you can apply to a card and it helps kind of like treat the surface of the card, help remove any scratches or surface flaws, and can also like kind of fill in any like divots in the surface and things like that. So really intended to make the surface specifically of the card as clean as possible and as smooth as possible and all that. So that's kind of what really sparked the conversation hobby wide. So we at least wanted to bring it up and kind of unpack it briefly a little bit. I don't think either of us are wildly well versed in this specific example or in how the product truly works and things like that. But since it is a pretty hot button topic, thought it'd be good to at least address. So when you hear about the general topic, Aaron, what comes to mind and how do you feel about it?
Well, I think, for me, and I think a couple others out there, it just kind of, is in the same vein of obviously, altering cards, which I think, shouldn't really be done. I mean, you can do whatever you want to your card, but as far as, trying to play, the grading system like that, through alteration, I don't know if you should really be doing that, in my opinion. And so, this card treating method is just, another example like that. Again, I don't really know truly how it works. But yeah, like kind of a new thing. But yeah, to me, it's just I don't really agree with it. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how stuff like that kind of shakes up. And wouldn't surprise me if it's been used before. And then obviously, on such a high profile card. But in those cases, maybe it wasn't talked about, it wasn't admitted to. So we'll see. I mean, maybe this might be a new thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really in the whole grading thing. So it's not something that's going to affect me personally, but it's just something, we're going to have to wait and see what, kind of shakes up. But definitely really, you know, whether you're here or there on this topic, I mean, pretty risky, applying some sort of, I guess, chemical on a card like that. That's just, I mean, I'm sure you did it with base cards or something to test that stuff out, but still just pretty risky to me. And, especially a one of one card of, a good player. Again, I'm not super well versed with other sports besides hockey, but, to do that to say a McDavid card or something, I mean, if you have a rare card of a McDavid, a one of one, you want to send it in, that's good enough. Like you don't need to be going and trying to alter every bit of it, to sort of cheat the system and just I don't know, it's a one of one of a good player. Those attributes should stand alone and sort of make the card what it is, not what you've done to it, in my opinion. So that's just me, and I guess that's all I have to say about this topic. And we'll see what shakes out.
Yeah, I think what you explained there is very much the epitome of buy the card, not the grade.
Basically, yeah, 100%, especially one of ones. I think it's just, if you want to encapsulate it for your own collection, totally go for it. But to extract every little bit of value out of it. It's like it's a one of a really good player. Like that should be enough, in my opinion. But I mean, with the hobby right now, it's all about value and pumping things up, pumping things down, like whatever. So I'm not surprised it's being done, but it's kind of disappointing that the card and the numbering isn't enough now. It's weird. But I
Yeah,
guess
I
I'm old
mean,
school now. I don't know.
no, I mean we see it more so in other sports. I mean, we see it in hockey too, but there's just this total obsession with I gotta get a 10, I gotta get a PSA 10, like otherwise it's completely worthless. And I think any true long-term collector looks at this mindset and is like, why are we doing this? Like, like why is this the end all be all? And I like how you mentioned like, do we know what this product does to cards long term? I don't know that we do.
Well,
And
I
it's
didn't mention long term, but you just brought up the long term thing. Like I was thinking in the moment, like, do we know what this stuff does to a card? But again, I suppose they tested it or something on other cheaper cards. But long term is a really good point too, actually. What does this do to a card? I don't know. It's a very good point that you brought up.
because I even just saw on Twitter earlier today, I think it was, or maybe yesterday, that someone had an example of a vintage card that had been treated to get rid of, I don't know if they had glued it into an album or something. It was a vintage card, like, and there was additional paper on the card. So somehow they were able to like soak the card and then get the paper and the glue off and then treat the glue stain with something and made it look pretty original. And then I think that was, I don't remember when that was done, quite a while ago, like years ago. And then this card, the exact copy of the card has surfaced since, and you can see like in the slab that that glue stain is starting to show again. So it's like it was graded, looking really good, but now that stain is coming back after all these years. So obviously, if it was submitted today, it's not going to get that same grade.
Hmm.
So it's a very interesting topic, whether it's with these ultra modern cards, treating them for surface things with a chromium stock like the Wembanyama, or whether it be a vintage card and you're trying to kind of restore it or whatever it might be. I definitely fall into the camp of whatever you want to call it, whether it's cleaning or doctoring or treating or whatever it is, it's still altering the card. It's not in its original state. Now, some people might say, well, but like, what if you're taking a microfiber cloth or your t-shirt or something and wiping off a fingerprint off a card? Well, that's not altering the original state of the card. Like that's a completely different thing than if you're literally chemically treating the card or, obviously if you're like trimming a card or something like that, where you are physically, tangibly changing the card itself. So yeah, but it's a very interesting conversation and yeah, one that I definitely am not a fan of. I think any devoted collector would probably hear this topic and kind of cringe and just say, why are people doing this? Like, this is not what collecting is supposed to be. So, yeah, I don't think that I have too much more to say about it. But like I said, it is a pretty hot button topic that has come up over the last few weeks. So at least wanted to touch on it real quick.
For sure. I mean, I don't really have much more to say on just, yeah, basically what you were saying. Once a card basically comes off the production line and obviously out of a pack or an e-pack shipment, once it gets to you, like that's sort of the state it's in. And if you want to put it away somewhere and then grade it down the line, cool, or rub a fingerprint off that you received it, you touched the card and you're putting it away, cool. But after that, you kind of should submit it kind of as the same state that it got to you in essentially. And then anything else to me, yeah, it's kind of altering in my opinion. So that's all I have to say on it. And yeah, different times.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll leave that at that. If there is any more notable additions to that conversation, we can circle back on it, but at least wanted to address it in to some degree. And then for the last segment of the episode, obviously, last episode, you guys might have seen that I did some Series 2 breaks and did not get a Connor Bedard Young Gun. So I will be continuing with my quest to pull a Connor Bedard Young Gun. All right, so here we go with another of the oversized Young Gun blasters. Of course, you get the one oversized Young Gun per blaster, as well as 3 packs of Series 2. And we will start off with that oversized Young Gun. And we have got for the Anaheim Ducks, Jackson Lacombe. It's not too bad, not great, not bad. I would say that's kind of an average one for the oversized Young Guns. Again, there are 14 guys on that checklist, so some good names, some okay names. And turning to the 3 packs, you are essentially guaranteed one Young Gun. You could get 2. So pack number 1, we have got an O-Pee-Chee Glossy of Alex Ovechkin, a portrait for the Nashville Predators, Yaroslav Askarov, and a Director of Boards of Matthew Olivier. On to pack number 2. We've got another O-Pee-Chee Glossy for the Vegas Golden Knights, Jack Eichel, the Superstar Honor Roll of Samuel Bolduc, and a PCs of Connor McDavid. So that's a very cool one there. Really nice cards. I like that insert set. Cool design. Obviously, can never go wrong with McDavid, so that's nice. And onto the third and final pack. So this pack should have a Young Gun. We've got a Dazzler's Green of Mika Zibanejad, a Young Guns of Ryan Shea for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and an Instinctive of Alexander Georgiev, and another insert as well, a Deep Roots of John Carlson. So unfortunately, no Bedard in that box, but that is okay. Not going to be in every box, of course. So yeah, there's another one of the Young Gun oversized blasters. This time we have one of the Mega Blasters. So these are the ones that come with the 94-95 rookie die cut bonus pack. Of course, if you guys saw our episode from release day and reacting to the product with our thoughts and some breaks that I did that night, of course, I did manage to get the Bedard Red parallel out of the die cut bonus pack. So we'll see how we do this time. So I'll start off with that bonus pack, starting off with an Adam Fantilli. Next, we have Devin Levi, and finally, Logan Cooley. So 3 pretty decent names there, but not the guy that you're looking for, unfortunately, but that is all right. And then for the blaster itself, you get 6 packs and a guarantee of at least 2 Young Guns out of those packs. All right, first pack, we have got a Young Guns for the Nashville Predators, Mark Del Gaizo. We have a Superstar Honor Roll of Simon Edvinsson and an Instinctive of John Gibson. Moving on to pack number 2, starting off with an O-Pee-Chee Glossy Gold of Jack Eichel, an Ecliptic of Tim Stützle, and a Canvas of Aaron Ekblad. On to pack number 3. That's a cool one. We have a PC Sparkle for the Boston Bruins, Patrice Bergeron. We have another Young Gun, and that's a good one. It's not the big guy, but it's pretty close. For the Anaheim Ducks, Leo Carlson. So obviously a very solid one there. And a Portrait of Jason Robertson. So definitely a good Young Gun there. Happy with that. On to pack number 4. We've got an O-Pee-Chee Glossy of Alex Ovechkin, a Director of Boards of Marcus Foligno, and a Deep Roots of Mikko Rantanen. On to pack number 5. See if we can get another Young Gun or not. Starting off, we have a Glaring for the Dallas Stars of Jason Robertson. Believe those are a little bit tougher to pull out of retail, if I remember correctly. I believe they are 1 in 133 packs, actually. So that is a pretty nice pull out of retail there. Also have a Superstar Honor Roll of Walker Duehr and a PCs of Cale Makar. And down to our 6th and final pack. Will we beat the odds on the Young Guns? We shall see. We have got an O-Pee-Chee Glossy of Jack Eichel, a Dazzler's Blue for the Winnipeg Jets of Kyle Connor, and an Instinctive of Capo Kakinen. So even though no Bedard, that was still a pretty solid box. Obviously, getting the Leo Carlson Young Gun is very nice and got a pretty rare insert there, all things considered, in the Jason Robertson Glaring, as well as a few decent names out of the bonus pack. So not too bad there at all. Obviously, again, not exactly what you're looking for, but can't complain too much either. The Bedard Young Gun hunt continues. This time we have a tin, which comes with one of the Dazzlers bonus packs with 3 Dazzlers, and then you also get 8 flagship packs with at least 3 Young Guns. So we'll start off with that Dazzlers bonus pack. Of course, Bedard is in the set, so you could get a nice little Bedard card here. And they're all orange. We have a Braden Point, a Philip Gustafson, and a Sidney Crosby. So Crosby is always a nice player to get. And on to the flagship packs. Pack number 1. We have got an O-Pee-Chee Glossy for the Anaheim Ducks, Jackson Lacombe. We've got a Portrait of Jack Hughes and an Ecliptic of David Pastrnak. On to pack number 2, we have got a Young Guns for the Minnesota Wild of Nick Swaney. Got an Instinctive of Logan Thompson and a Deep Roots of Sebastian Aho. Again, really like those Deep Roots cards. Just a really interesting and unique finish on those, and very nice cards in person. On to pack number 3, we've got an O-Pee-Chee Glossy of Sean Farrell, a Director of Boards of Sam Carrick, and a Superstar Honor Roll of Will Cooley. On to pack number 4, we have got a Young Guns for the St. Louis Blues of Hugh McGing. We've got a Superstar Honor Roll of Igor Afanasyev and a PCs of Philip Forsberg. Halfway through on to pack 5, still looking for at least one more Young Gun out of this tin, maybe 2 if we get lucky. We have got an O-Pee-Chee Glossy Gold for the Edmonton Oilers, Leon Draisaitl, a PCs of Dylan Larkin, and that is all. Only 2 inserts in here. So that's kind of a bit of a bummer. We did still get the 12 cards per pack, so we weren't necessarily shorted a card, but unfortunately, only 2 inserts in that pack instead of the 3 that you are supposed to get. On to pack number 6, we have got an Ecliptic Sparkle of Elias Pettersson, a Young Guns of Hardy Haman Octel for the Washington Capitals, and a Deep Roots of Blake Wheeler. So that is our 3rd Young Gun of the tin. We shall see if we can muster up that 4th one or not. 2 packs left, so this is pack number 7. Got an O-Pee-Chee Glossy of Tyler Kalevin, a Superstar Honor Roll of Tyler Kalevin, and a Director of Boards of Josh Brown. And on to the 8th and final pack. Let's see if we can beat the odds with another Young Gun. We have got a Young Guns for the Washington Capitals of Hunter Shepard, a PCs of Nathan McKinnon, and a real nice UD canvas of Connor McDavid. So unfortunately, no Bedard out of that tin, so the hunt continues. That'll wrap things up for this episode. As always, please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunrise Cardcast, and on Twitter at CICC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Sunrise Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.